I swear I'm getting weaker as I grow older. Ah, feeble little blonde woman. Hello, beautifuls. Welcome back to my Chanel. Can you believe it? We're finally here, my lovelies. We are at Where Are They Now? What happened next? What's life after the Swan, girls? So, let me get it. So here I have the Swan DVD, and I'm covering the back because I don't want to give any spoilers away, to myself mainly, but also to you guys. And I didn't realise, because I haven't looked at this, because I wanted to keep it as spoiler-free for myself as possible. Look, episode 1 there, I don't know if you can see that there, it says, Where Are They Now? And it's basically a sort of like revisited to the Swan contestants a year after the original first series aired. So I didn't realise that. I didn't realise that the first episode of season 2 was a Where Are They Now? So what we're going to do today, my loves, we're going to split today into 2 parts, but it's all going to be in one video, so don't you worry about that. So in the first part of this video, in the first sort of like half, or dare I say it half? I don't know how long it's going to take. We are going to watch the Where Are They Now episode. I'm going to keep it as concise and on the point as possible, so I'm going to like remove out all those like coming up next nonsenses, because I want to keep it quite linear, just so that we understand where they are now. And I have done an extensive amount of research on this series over the last about month or so, really. Hours and hours and hours and hours scouring the internet and scouring the files of the vaults, girl, to try and find any information of them more recently, up to, dare I say it, like 15 years afterwards. And I think I've managed to find some pretty juicy bits, so stay tuned for that, my loves. I definitely need some energy if we're going to be watching some drama today, my lovelies. I have my Homest opera glasses at the ready, and for the last time in season 1, it's time for the Swan, girls! I wonder where the banister is now. I wonder if Amanda will do it. Where is the banister? She caressed me.
Last year, the Swan phenomenon took the country by storm.
It bloody did. What's this?
Swan.
The Swan, girls.
What?
It all began with a nationwide search for over 200,000 hopefuls, each looking to fulfill their fantasies of going from ugly ducklings.
People just don't understand what it feels like to feel ugly.
I'm afraid that nobody else would ever love me.
To beautiful swans.
Oh,
These 16 women handed over their lives
Oh,
to a
my
world-class
goodness,
team of
sudden
experts. Collectively,
surgery.
they received more than $4 million worth of treatments, including radical...
Okay, we'd never been told that before. They received more than $4 million worth of treatments across the whole series. That's only 16 people. That is insane! And to think, all of them were having it done in like one day. Apart from the teeth stuff, really. Shocking. Really shocking. I forgot how shocking this show is, and I've only not watched it for like a week.
Party's over.
Not
The
allowed to
program
book
pushed
job,
all of the
lazy.
competitors to their absolute limits.
Oh.
I prayed for death this week.
But they were relentless in their pursuit of goals once unthinkable.
What? You can't put... I'm sorry, you can't put, like, I prayed for death this week against, like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, overcoming music. I still find that just as difficult to believe that they did that as the first time we watched that, all those weeks ago now. Insane.
Meaning before this is over.
Oh,
They did
Kelly.
all of this without seeing themselves in a mirror.
No mirrors, no mirrors, no mirrors.
In the end, 9 earned a spot in the most
Oh, the
watched
pageant
pageant
girls.
in
That's the
America.
one. That was an experience, wasn't it? Wow.
While only
What is
one
this
received the
editing?
crown,
Rachel girl!
they were all winners.
That's it. The season's over. We've watched the whole thing now. The whole season could have been that. How long was that? 1 minute 30 intro. Perfect. This was a hateful green screen. The state of that.
But
Why would they
when
do that to
returned
them?
Home, who got engaged?
What?
Whose relationship crumbled? Who's turning heads as a model? And
As a
who gained weight? Tonight, the Swans come together for a
As if, like, gaining weight is the worst thing that can happen in the world. Why on earth were they like, and who gained weight? As if it's like, oh no, the worst possible thing has befallen the citadel of swans. Get over it. Get a life. Oh, here we go. A team of experts and a swan woman, a banister, a hateful shoe, a hemorrhoid necklace, the swan. Where are they now, girls? Where are they? Who's to been eating my swan?
It's a night to remember with a group of women you'll never forget.
Ooh.
This is the
That's a group activity?
Swan. Where are they now?
Oh, it's
And
like
now
a
your
pageant.
host, Amanda Byram.
Amanda Goad. Oh, it's a pageant.
Where are they now? Tonight, it's the show we've all been waiting for.
Oh, the audio.
Right here on this stage, we are reuniting the women who dared
lovely
to
basque.
transform their lives on
Oh.
national television.
Dead.
Now, the question we all want the answer to is what's happened since then, right? Think about it.
Why is
These
this so
women return
dark?
home as confident beauties after a lifetime of feeling like insecure, ugly ducklings. And you just know their lives are never going to be the same again.
Never be the same again.
It's like talking to children. Like, she's like addressing, like, I don't know, kindergartners have put on wigs for the first time and they're like, your lives will never be the same again.
Let's get sexy!
Really annoying strand of hair desperately wanting to make its way into my optic nerve. I'm going to name it Amanda.
Just ask Kelly Alemi.
Kelly girls!
When Kelly Alemi first opened the door to us,
Never thought in a million
The logo
years
artists to get paid.
me.
Kelly girl.
and achieved a level of fame she never thought possible.
Oh, Kelly. Today,
Remember
girls.
the old Kelly?
Oh.
Just kidding. Come on in.
Oh,
I
she's an
smile all
actress?
the time now.
the
Not
husband-
just because I have great teeth. I smile a lot now because, I'm happy.
I am like the
Look at that
luckiest guy
volume.
in the world because my girlfriend went away for 4 months and here she comes back looking like a supermodel.
And what did you do, sir? What did you do? Sit at home and eat Jaffa cakes? Twinkie bars? A pie, maybe?
Insert some custard.
I find this so, like, disjointed now because, like, she's literally looking like a supermodel and could, like, I don't know. I was just about to say she could get whoever she wants, but, like, clearly she wants him, otherwise they wouldn't have stayed together. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like it's really disjointed now. Really strange experience. Oh, the Swan is really weird. Oh, it's such a weird show. Ow! Oh, she's on a
Our
speedboat.
relationship has completely changed.
We made up for those years pretty much within the first week that she returned home.
July 3rd, we went out on our boat, and he sat me down, and he got down on his knee, and he asked me if I would spend the rest of my life with him.
I'm not
Kelly
surprised. Look at you. Stunner.
Yes.
We were crying and hugging, and I felt my ring.
The new Kelly is absolutely glowing.
I am happy with who I
Oh,
am, and
goodness.
no one can take it away
Bridal
from me.
plastic. Oh, that was a wink.
And joining us now, would you please welcome Kelly Alemi.
Kelly girls. Ooh, mysterious woman in the shadow. Oh, hello. Oh. A batwing top and a straight leg jean.
Sexy lady. Working it, girl. You look amazing, doesn't she?
The audience must be like, please, me next.
Oozing confidence. I mean, do you feel like
Oozing?
a completely different person?
I'm a completely different person. I mean, I'm so happy with who I am, and I've found inner peace with myself, and I don't concentrate on what I honestly look like on the outside because I'm so happy with how I've transformed on the inside. And
Oh, I'm going to interrupt Kelly there. I must say, she has that kind of... I hate saying this because it makes me sound like an absolute, like, conspiracy nut job. Is that, like, she has that similar sort of, like, I don't know if it's nerves, but that kind of reserved, like, a little bit deer in headlights moment that we saw on Marnie a little bit. I don't know if I don't know if I'm out of line saying that, but let me know what you guys think. I wonder if this script was written for her, because I always find it really weird when people are like, it's not about what I look like on the outside now, it's about the joy I have on the inside. Yes, it is about the joy you have on the inside, but clearly you also pay attention to the outside. You are blonde now, Kelly, so blonde must bring you an amount of joy, which is absolutely okay to say. If you're like, do you know what, I feel more powerful in a red lip than I do with any other lipstick shade I could ever wear. More power to you, my love. Everyone's allowed to be a little bit materialistic. What's the point of living on the material plane if you don't enjoy material things to some extent, you know? Just don't make your whole life about it.
because I'm so happy with how I've transformed on the inside,
I
and
love
I
her
think that
makeup.
it just makes me a better person.
By the way, Kelly, you are not the only
Oh, I thought-
Swan who's sporting a diamond ring on her
Oh, my
finger.
goodness.
Nuh-uh. We'll find out who else got engaged later
Oh,
on
Kelly's
the show.
like,
But
how
right
dare
now,
she?
let's check in on some women who also discovered newfound strength when they returned home.
Oh. What?
Bessant
Belinda goes.
was a former model.
I used to have the perfect body.
Ooh, today, girls.
And now has the sad single mom recovered her model mystique?
She goes
When I look in
golfing.
the mirror now, I see a hot, sexy woman. I wore size 18. Now I'm a size 8. I
Wow!
never get back to those single digits again, so
That is
great.
incredible.
I
I'm getting big. Well, you're getting little.
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting
It's a
little.
good thing,
That's
huh?
cute.
Mommy got little.
But what's the biggest change for Belinda?
I have a boyfriend in my life.
Oh!
I see a warm, caring person. You could not have drawn a more beautiful woman.
Oh dear. It's getting a bit steamy.
Did you see that? 9 months ago, would I ever thought that I'd be here feeling this way now? No way. I mean, it was like a dream come true, and I'm so happy. I love my life now.
Oh, that's a lovely, lovely little thing to say. That's the one. Where are they now?
From Belinda Bessant to Beth Lay, a woman
Lay.
distraught by the toll motherhood had taken on her body.
After having a child, I have this disgusting stomach with stretch marks.
And she was stunned by her striking new look.
Incredible. But, a wispy fringe.
At the pageant, she
My
walked
goodness.
away as the
Power
first
lesbians.
runner-up.
Come on, girls.
So, what happened to the heartsick housewife with the wandering husband?
Damn right, he was a wandering husband. A wandering husband should wander all the way into the bin.
This is definitely a new Beth. This is a more confident Beth.
But is she more secure in her marriage?
I was definitely jealous before, and now it's not a problem. I know I'm good enough for him. I think he's got a great catch.
Damn right, he's punching way above his weight.
All the time. I'm proud to be your husband.
She was a knockout at the pageant, but has she kept on track?
I'm kind of disappointed in myself for gaining a little bit of weight. I came home with a killer body, and now it's a little bit bigger than I wanted it to be. But I'm working on it.
But they did put her in a full face of makeup to go running in. So is this the, like, she gained weight storyline that they try to really build up as, like, a trailer for the show? Because, like, gaining a little bit of weight is not the end of the world, my loves. You were literally put through the ringer. You had a personal trainer. You had people screaming at you all day. You had some level of competition with other people to keep you in track. When you go home and back to your normal life and everything kind of goes back to normal, there is no shame in saying that you couldn't keep up that level of motivation that was kind of like forced upon you. No shame in that at all, my lovely. No shame. No need to be disappointed. You do you, my love. You do you. And if it takes you a little bit longer to get like back to where you want to be, it takes you that little bit of time, my lovely. Everything in life takes time. That's the one, girls. Whomst are thou?
Remember Kathy Brickers?
Yes.
When I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror, I still see an awkward 16-year-old.
Today, Kathy's fulfilled
goodness.
her dream of working in fashion.
She answers the phone.
Does she still feel like an awkward 16-year-old?
I don't see that
She's
person.
a bombshell.
I feel absolutely amazing.
She's in a full face of makeup again, though.
Now, the Swan made TV history with a pageant that's not about the beauty you're born with.
Well, this pacing is very strange. What is she just about to say? Not the beauty you're born with, but the beauty we can give you, or some other arbitrary nonsense?
But rather the beauty you've worked for.
Okay.
Now, let's see how all this hard work and sacrifice has paid off for Cindy Ingle.
Oh, Cindy go!
Cindy Ingle was struggling with the embarrassment of having to shave.
Charvet.
Cindy was also teased in school for having what she describes as a witch's nose.
Oh, God,
People just
yes,
don't
I remember
understand
that.
what it feels like to feel ugly.
She made second runner-up in the pageant, landing her in the national spotlight.
Cindy Ingle joins us.
How has the once shameful shaver's life changed?
Shameful shaver.
I'm modeling for a new clothing line.
She's a model, girl.
The supermodel.
Oh, complete with the America's Next Top Model. Flash, 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 flash. Click, 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 click. I wonder if they try and put these like flashes and like camera noises in to demonstrate that the fashion industry is like
high-paced, fast-paced, fashion, glam, on the go, new every week.
It's funny, really, because imagine trying to be a YouTuber and doing 2 brand new videos every single week and streaming on Twitch 3 days a week as well. Imagine.
My nose is perfect. I'm not trying to hide my nose. I'm not shaving anymore. The only person shaving in this house is Kid.
A little moonlight dance.
We're like boyfriend and girlfriend again. I feel so good about my appearance. I feel good in my heart. I'm happy with myself.
The thing is, this show would never be like, and we're airing this person who completely hates their transformation. Do you know what I mean? Like, this show wouldn't do it. So it's very biased. So I do think when I talk about what happened like 15 years later, do keep in mind that what they're saying could be not forced exactly, I think that's the wrong word, but like could be influenced by the show, so to speak.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Cindy Ingle.
Cindy go. That's a nice dress. What is this, like, adult music? Ooh.
You look hot. Ken's favourite part of your transformation?
Favourite part?
Ken's favorite part of my transformation is
his
just
favourite part.
me, my newfound confidence, just being happy with myself. And
Oh, that's good.
I must say he's not complaining about the physical part either. But
Now, I hear a story that.
Well,
I
where's
need to
his
watch my
dong,
back.
Plasty?
What's this all about?
I am working with XETV, Channel 6, Fox San Diego. So be looking for me.
What was that?
I hear a story that I need to watch my back. What's this all about?
I am working with XETV, Channel 6, Fox San Diego.
Oh.
Well, Cindy, all I can say is you look absolutely incredible and continued success. So thank you very much, Cindy Ingle.
Oh. I kind of like that they've included like a little bit of her, like her work and stuff.
When all the swans reunite here on this stage. And speaking of reunions, let's find out what happened when these swans returned home.
That's the one, girls.
When we
Marnie.
met Marnie Rygiewicz, the man of her dreams had walked out on her.
Oh,
He didn't want to live with the kids and me.
Man of her dreams.
It was just so unbelievable.
She hadn't had a date in
Painful
10
breakup
years.
began a dating freeze.
It's been 10 years. I feel so lonely.
Marnie struggled with motivation.
This was a difficult one.
seriously. I don't want to tell you this again.
Then rallied to complete the program.
Oh my God.
God, I feel so bad. Marnie displayed her newfound confidence at the pageant.
Oh, she does look very gorgeous. She was gorgeous before.
Now
Gorgeous
has the
after.
unmotivated mom shifted her life into overdrive?
I changed everything in my life. I feel like I'm getting a new beginning.
And has she climbed out of her 10-year dating rut?
A lot of men give me a lot of attention. A couple of the guys were younger. I feel sexier because I...
Was that it? Was that little one sentence we got about that? That seemed a bit forced, didn't it? It was just like, oh, yes, I've been on dates and the men are younger. They didn't ask her any leading questions about, like, how she's felt or anything like that. Like, very strange.
I treat myself better. I think feeling more confident.
Oh, look at that filter.
From Marnie Rygiewicz to Kelly Becker.
Kelly goes.
When we first met
Kelly.
Kelly Becker, she had spent a lifetime plagued by insecurity.
A big part of my self-esteem is my face. A lot of times I look in the mirror and I just hate my nose.
You're getting cheek implants, right?
This is like that fall.
Kelly persevered and completed the program.
Oh my God!
Disco rave. Kelly goes. What's she up to now?
Kelly's relationship with Ethan rebound? And what about her sense of self-esteem?
Oh, ballet?
I love the fact that I can look in the mirror now and think that I know that I look good. It's a really great feeling.
Oh.
And what about Kelly's boyfriend?
People thought I was unsupportive. I've loved Kelly ever since high school. I was just scared that maybe I wouldn't recognize her.
Well, I mean, that's an understandable concern. It's just a little bit like, I don't know, a little bit insensitive, shall we say, to be like, blah, before they go in for surgery. Do you know what I mean? Just a little bit insensitive, I think. But also, you need to... Oh, has he wet himself? Oh, dear.
Ethan went to great heights to show his true feelings.
Oh.
He took me up to the Sears Tower and he asked me to be his wife.
Oh.
It was really sweet.
Now she's more open. She's more confident. We can't wait to get married.
Oh, maybe she splashed him.
If I didn't go through the Swan program and we were engaged now, it would have still been like the same rut. And I don't think it would have been as good as it is now.
Oh, that's very strange. He's like, oh, you're a swan. Go and be a swan in the fountain. Look, everybody, there's a swan in the fountain. That's very strange. What was production up to then? All right. Oh, Kelly goes.
Sarina Voight was still clinging to Lucky, the husband that let her down.
Oh, yeah.
I finally filed for divorce the Monday after I found out for sure that he was having an affair.
Hateful.
Being rejected, her self-esteem was shattered.
Yes.
When I look in the mirror, I see the ultimate plain Jane.
No. But Sarina struggled to let go of the past.
I love you.
I love you too.
And was in need of a wake-up call.
No more Lucky. Bye-bye, Lucky.
In the end, Sarina finally focused on herself and the results were shocking.
Stunning. What is this editing? Boom, boom, diamonds, sparkles, girls, today.
How has life changed for the former plain Jane?
Is that Colorado?
I know this one program helped me to find myself in a way that I had never known myself.
It taught you yoga and got you a dog.
So, has Sarina finally said bye-bye to Lucky?
Well, don't
He's
look
a
at...
good person and we're friends, but beyond friendship, I'm not sure.
That was not an acceptable answer. She should have been like, no, he's in the bin. He's gone now. It's been 20 years. Will we ever be more than friends? I'm not sure. I'm not happy with that. Not happy with that at all. But I mean, like, it's not my life, is it, sis? It's not my life. I just don't like the idea that this show has portrayed divorce as like something that's like, and maybe he's the true one after all. Like, he cheated on her, sis. Hateful.
Was so inspirational that 300,000 women applied for season 2.
300,000?
I know. Later tonight, you will meet the lucky individuals who were selected.
No, we won't, because that's a surprise for next time.
Footsteps of amazing success stories, just like Merline Norman's.
Oh, Marlene. Merline. Hello,
As a mother
Merline.
of 3 girls and a daughter of deaf parents, Merline Norman's biggest struggle was trying to make time for herself. Merline went through a dramatic dental transformation,
She did.
extensive plastic
With
surgery,
the naughty
and truly
dentist.
became a beauty.
Truly became a beauty. She was weird language.
Okay, I am as hot as I feel.
Lightning girls.
And now, does the former dental disaster have a future as bright as her smile?
Since I've gone through this one program, my life has changed drastically. I've
She's
gone
a
through an
blonde.
amazing transformation from having the figure of like a 13-year-old little girl to being a voluptuous woman. I smile a lot more. It's like I've always had these straight white teeth.
Wow.
And what about her relationship with her boyfriend?
It's day and night. Our communication level, our relationship is really great. Not to mention in the bedroom. It's really good. I'm not working as many hours as I used to. I have a lot more passion for life, to live in the moment. I just want to be the best that I can be now. And to do
I
that.
do kind of feel like the boyfriends have done nothing and they're getting a lot out of this. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're getting so much. It's almost, it's so one-sided. It's so like, oh, this woman had loads of problems and her husband had no problems whatsoever, but she caused the problems for this man. So now she's gone off and had like 28 plastic surgeries, 4 months of exercise and dieting, and she's come back like a gorgeous, stunning bombshell of a woman, and the husband's just like,
oh yeah, she's all mine.
and it's just like, I feel like that's quite gross, actually. Really quite gross.
That, I need to take care of myself.
It screams patriarchy.
Please give a warm welcome to Merline Norman.
Oh, hello, Marlene. Where's everyone else gone? Marlene, hello. Oh, is that a witch's dress? Oh, I don't like the face framing layers. Not on a bob.
Oh, it's great to see you again. It's great to be back. Well, I've been tipped off, Merline, that you have some exciting news for all of us. Oh, show us
Oh,
the hair.
marriage.
Engaged as
Oh, engaged, well, yes.
2 weeks ago. So I take it that when you went...
This is it's kind of affirming to the audience in this point that, like, once you go on the Swan and come out gorgeous, men just want to marry you. And it's like, that's quite a lot, isn't it? Seeing as, like, marriage is a form of ancient ownership. Ooh.
Home, he was absolutely overawed by your transformation.
Definitely in awe of the whole transformation. I overhear him telling everybody, or, you know, behind me, she's just looks so much more happier now.
What's your favorite part of this whole experience?
The therapy. Because
Really?
you can get all this stuff done on the outside and you'll still be the same person on the inside. So, and in the Swan program, Dr. Yanni gave me a whole brand new look on life and taught me that you are in charge of your own emotions and what you want to be like.
But therapy, the sad thing about that is I feel like that was a bit of a planted sentence, because therapy isn't just like you go to a therapist, talk about your problems, 3 months later, they're gone and you're cured. Like, therapy is kind of a lifelong thing. Like, it's one of those things that's like, it's a constant need in people's lives. So the idea that the Swan program is like, you enter the program, you come out the other side a completely different new person. It's just like any therapists in the audience here, you don't agree with that, surely. Surely you cannot agree with the concept of you spend 3 months in therapy and you're fixed and then you're beautiful forever. right?
Thank you very much. Merline Norman.
Merline goes. Oh,
The
Carla.
expert team at the Swan helps transform these women on the outside. But only after the Swans go back to the real world do we get a true test of how much they've changed on the inside, right? Right. Let's take a look.
When we
Dawn.
first met Dawn Goad, she had gone through a lifetime of feeling unattractive.
Sometimes I feel like the ugly duckling. I was always the little fat girl.
But in the end, sacrifice led to salvation.
That's the one.
Look at
Swan.
that smile.
Dawn, the Swan.
And now is Dawn taking her swan lessons back to her nest.
Swan lessons?
We're trying to get everybody into the good eating habits.
Especially Chris, her teenage son. The formerly overweight teen lost 45 pounds.
I'm kind of a hero to him with the whole weight loss thing. Everybody around me has more motivation because of me, and it makes me feel great.
Is the Swan a pyramid scheme? And like, that's kind of what it's coming across as. It just seems a bit much. Also, who goes to, except for me, who goes to the supermarket with your entire family, like, in full glam? I mean, actually, nowadays, it's probably more common than it was nearly 20 years ago, but like,
From Dawn Goad
Where are they
to
now?
Andrea Morris.
Andrea, go!
Andrea was a woman riddled with self-doubt, suffering from severe acne.
Yeah, and you made her look like
questioning the
an
status
angry
of her
woman.
Relationship.
I think our relationship will eventually end if I don't take care of some of my insecurities.
Andrea endured drastic acne treatments, but struggled with her dedication to the program.
It's
How
too
about in
much.
the gym? You've been complaining in the gym.
That's a damn lie. I'm not
It's
making
too
up
much.
excuses. I just want to go home.
Are you quitting?
From the brink of failure to a triumphant transformation.
My God.
Did not feel happy about that reveal. No.
What
Okay,
happened
today.
to the once scarred woman when she returned home with a sexy new look?
I see somebody totally different now. I see somebody who has self-confidence. I'm not frumpy anymore.
With her new confidence came the courage to make even greater changes.
What happened with Brian and I is we put an end to our relationship. I moved on and I'm happy.
Oh!
Delivery. I'm trying to keep up with my son, trying to be the best single mom that I can be. It's not as easy as it was being at the Swan. I can't live every day at the gym. All this was given to me on a silver platter, you know, and I don't want to mess it up.
Wow, she left her boyfriend because, you know, I think that boyfriend wasn't very nice. I don't think we had, like, a lovely experience during that episode. So I am glad that she left him and, like, moved on with her life. That is so many of them needed to take that advice.
She looks great. When we come back, I'll be joined right here on stage by the woman who was crowned the Swan. That is Rachel Love-Fraser.
Oh, I just want Beth and Rachel to
military
have become,
mom,
like,
Kristy Garza?
lesbian power couple. Kristy,
I don't know
girls.
how to dress, or I don't know what to do with my hair.
She said goodbye to the army and welcomed her
They
newfound
did you
femininity.
dirty so many times.
Before, I guess I'd put on camouflage and boots and my hair in a bun. But now, I just want to get dressed up and go somewhere.
Welcome back to the Swan. Where are they now?
Now, if you're keeping score at home, so far tonight we've had 3 engagements, 1 breakup, and we're not done yet.
Where's the rest of Kristy? This show has done Kristy Garza so dirty. They've given her, like, they've brought her back like 9 times, and each time they've been like,
No, actually, we're still not interested.
but like, why did they give her like a sentence in that? A sentence? Rude.
Cristina Tyree's dreams were shattered when she was
Christina,
left
girl.
with a saggy stomach after giving birth to her son.
I really like belly dancing, but I cannot imagine
I hope
dancing
she's a
for my
famous belly
husband
dancer.
Because the way that I look.
Princess. Oh.
Oh my God. Thank you, God.
And earned a spot in the
Wow.
pageant.
Love that dress.
And now is the bashful belly dancer ready to unveil her new tight tummy?
Now I belly dance in public. Before the program, my stomach was very saggy. It would just hang, rolls and rolls. And I love it.
Wow. More camera
After I got back
noises.
from the Swan, my life
changed completely.
Perfect. Beautiful.
Modeling now.
Beautiful.
Modeling. Ooh.
I am very thankful to the Swan for allowing me to find Cristina.
It's very of its time, this show. And like, don't you always want to be a model? Don't you want to be a model? Come on the Swan and leave a model. Like, it's very that, isn't it? Whereas modeling, I don't know, modeling has such a, in my mind now, after watching and hearing so many negative things about the industry, like modeling to me doesn't always have like this brilliant connotation with it. I am a little bit like, oh, some of it I'm just like, oh, gasp. Where are they now, girls?
From Cristina Tyree to Tawnya Cooke.
Oh,
a woman
Tanya!
Devastated by a trio of tragedies.
Oh.
In the past 3 years, my brother passed away. My husband left, and then I got laid off. When I look in the mirror now, I just see an old lady.
Tanya faced her fears and maximized her time in the program.
And she also told the surgeons
results
to F
turned
off.
back the clock.
Oh my God.
Oh.
So, what happened to the single mom who felt like an old woman?
My life has really changed for the better. I've started a new career goal. I would really love to become an actress. I'm switching to Product S. Much better, okay? And I've been getting coached, and they're all excited. They think I'm a natural, which is nothing I would have ever done before.
Oh,
when
very
I look
exciting.
In the mirror now, I see Tanya, but I see Tanya when she was in her like late 20s, early 30s. It's awesome.
Brilliant. Oh, very good.
And finally, Rachel Love-Fraser. Since
Rachel, go!
childhood, Rachel struggled with an extreme lack of confidence.
Yeah, her father was like,
I was in the 3rd grade. My dad said, I told your teacher just not to expect too much out of Rachel.
Imagine your parents saying that.
I think that was probably one of the lowest points in my life.
And she was also painfully self-conscious about her body.
I feel average because I look at myself in the mirror and that's what I see.
Even her husband did little to boost her self-esteem.
She's a little average.
I don't want to feel sorry for myself.
The Swan team laid out an ambitious plan for Rachel. As the heaviest swan,
190?
The heaviest
she had the
swan.
most weight to lose. Then Rachel endured more than
Surgery
10
goes.
surgical procedures, followed by a challenging recovery with little support from her husband back home.
Yeah.
You better answer today. I'm not
Imagine.
liking this conversation.
Imagine.
And don't you dare get quiet on me.
But
Imagine.
Rachel persevered, and within weeks she went from average to awesome.
This music's taken a turn. Mozart does the rave. Oh. What is this? Diamonds.
I don't look anything like that girl.
It's gonna take a little getting used to.
Then
She looks
came the
stunning.
pageant.
The pageant.
Rachel Love-Fraser, you are our first ever.
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. I remember that. Oh. The music.
And her life would never be the same.
She won like £1 million, basically.
Look at the swan.
Oh, it's that man.
So, what happened to the average girl who was crowned a beauty queen?
She drives a Jaguar.
I go out there and I attack each and every day with zest.
Volume.
When I walk down the street now, I'm completely confident.
Can I take a picture of you?
The fact that I lost 35 pounds to me is a major accomplishment. And
It
I
is.
promised myself that I would continue to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Does her husband still think she's
Average. I definitely received a lot of ribbing for calling my life average.
Ribbing?
People make mistakes, and I definitely made a big one there.
Yes.
What I most learned
Well, at
about
least you
myself
know
through this
it.
experience was that I can really do anything that I want to. I really control my destiny, and I have a lot to give as well.
Oh, a lot to give.
Incredible. From average all the way to beauty pageant winner, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Swan herself.
That's the one,
Rachel
girls.
Love-Fraser.
Oh. The Swan girls. It's the Swan. Look at the Swan. It's the Swan. Oh.
Rachel,
What a bonkers show.
possible that you look even more stunning stunning tonight than you ever did before, doesn't she? Incredible. Well, you went
She's
from
very tall.
self-confessed average to, excuse me, cover girl, People magazine, talk to me, tell us.
It's surreal. It's surreal. Yes. You know, I can't even explain what goes through your head when you're standing at the supermarket checkout and there you are staring at you. I never ever in a million years thought
The
that
Swan
would
controvery.
How many did you buy? I mean, tell me you bought hundreds.
Actually, my stepson bought like 10 of them and had me sign them and sold them at school.
And talking about your family,
A
your
business
husband,
mogul?
Mike. Now, you went through quite a public rough patch with Mike. But then, now I hear that everything's all rosy in the garden.
It's funny that you mentioned roses because actually one of the things, the very first thing he did for me was
Divorce.
He actually bought 16 dozen roses.
16
and had them
dozen.
all set up for me in the hotel room.
Did the roses have any significance?
The 16 dozen
Yes, they
Die just like my love for you has.
roses had a great significance. There was a dozen roses for each week that I was gone.
Oh.
That is so cute.
Mm.
Okay, listen, you're fabulous.
But he wasn't
You're the
there when you
ultimate
needed
swan.
him.
Give it up one more time for Rachel Love-Fraser.
He wasn't there when you needed him and you were phoning him home and he was like, no, I'm not answering. When he realised exactly how beautiful and who you would become, was he then like, oh, please stay with me. Disgraceful, childish behaviour. Into the bin.
Tonight, we have an exclusive gathering of women who've shared a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yes.
Here now, the most extraordinary group of beauty queens in
The Swans.
the world. Let's
The
hear it,
Swans.
ladies and gentlemen, for the Swans.
Absolutely bonkers. Oh, they're coming out of the magical forest. Oh goodness. Wow. Absolutely bonkers.
Don't go away. Things are about to heat up. Secrets, stories, and intimate details.
Secrets
all
and
will be
stories.
revealed by the Swans. We'll be right back.
Oh, it's about to get juicy, girls. All right, here we go.
Ladies, now this is the bit I've been waiting for all night, because this is where we get the juicy gossip out of them.
Why are they all sitting so far down?
The first thing I want to ask you is, I find this quite fascinating, actually. Now, after you saw yourselves in the mirror, you went back to your hotel room and did something else. What was it?
Well, most of us went home to the hotel, stripped naked in front of the mirror, and just stared at ourselves.
Yes! For how long?
Understandable.
Hours.
You didn't tire of it at all, Dawn?
No, not at all. Beth and I were in the bathroom together.
Oh.
Pointing out each other's bits.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to ask you is about the night of the pageant. Because I had wondered what would happen when your children saw you for the first time.
It was amazing coming up on the stage. But you know that your family's there and you just want to jump up and hug them. But you still have to walk. Everybody was clapping and screaming. I hear this little tiny voice. It looked like it came from heaven. And it was my little one saying, "That's my mommy." Yeah, it was amazing.
The show should have allowed you to
Marlene,
talk
what did
to
your
them.
girls say when they saw you the first time?
My second child, all she could say all night long was, "Mommy, you were the prettiest one up there." So yeah, what can you say to that?
Oh, everyone else is
Exactly.
like,
What about guys checking you out? Do any of you find that there's more guys checking you out than ever before?
oh, sod them.
Well, I mean,
Male validation is not all it's turned up to be, sis. You can be literally in a bin bag walking down the street and some man will be like, and it's just like, oh, leave me alone.
each other out. So guys are, of course, going to check us out.
Another show.
Because before, I'd be like, why is he looking at me? And now it's like, oh, okay, he's looking. We know why.
Yeah, right.
I know why you're looking.
And what about single swans? Marnie, how's the dating scene changed? for you?
Outed Marnie.
I'm not engaged yet, but that's okay. I'm having a great time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've also heard that some of your family members have been motivated by your whole swan experience.
Well, my
Want to become
mom's
swans?
dipped into the Botox and Restylane a little bit.
Oh, well, there we go. What a surprise. So this show is influencing people to get work done when mayhap they may not have done otherwise. What a surprise. It seems like Dr. Dubrow was there all along.
Go, Mom. What about whenever you, like, give your driver's license in? for something. Do people
surely you get it
recognize you on your
updated, no?
driver's license?
My husband's military, and so I was trying to go into a base one day and pulled out my ID. The guard guy looks at it and he looks at me and he's like, "This isn't you." And he even says, "This isn't you." I said, "It is." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to tell him the whole story." I said, "Do you watch the Swan, the Fox?" He's like, "Oh yeah, you're her." And it's like, yeah. So then he let me through. So
now I do believe there's quite a few audience members that want to
interesting.
ask you some questions as well, right?
Rachel, what was the coolest thing about being a swan?
I think the coolest thing about being a swan was being able to find yourself. I loved it. I got 4 months to do nothing but spend on myself, and I'd never done that in my life, and most people don't ever get that opportunity.
That's kind of true. Also, most people don't get a brow lift.
My question is for Beth. Was it weird walking around in your underwear on TV?
Oh my gosh. The fabulous gray granny underwear. That was so embarrassing standing in your big granny underwear.
Yeah, literally. They do it on purpose.
As you turn around like, oh my gosh.
I must admit, her foundation shade is a little bit too dark for my liking, but that's just me.
Okay, I think we'll take another question from the audience, please.
Hello, girls.
Oh, I want to
Hi.
swan.
I have one very, very serious question for Marnie. Marnie, what are you doing later?
I like your accent.
Oh, I like your hair. And your dress. And your smile.
Thank you very much, and thank you, everybody. The Swans!
That was the audience Q&A. That was the audience Q&A. That was so empty and filled with fluff. No juice whatsoever, for goodness sake.
Welcome back to a special edition of The Swan. Now, after last season, we were inundated with applications from women who wanted to be a part of the Swan programme.
Oh.
This year's group comes from all across the country
And you
from
know
all
what?
types of backgrounds.
We're not going to watch that because that's going to be saved for next time. Well, that was very interesting for the first part of a Where Are They Now? Kind of like a year later. In fact, I don't even believe it was really a year. I think it might have even been slightly less than a year, but they weren't going to tell us that though, were they? No, of course they weren't. So I have been doing so much research into what has happened to each of the Swans after this season aired, literally like years and years, 10 years, 15 years later. So I must admit, some of the contestants you cannot find any information on at all. Whether that's because they've retired from a public life of sorts, I don't really know. So I'm going to respect those people and not talk about them because I can't just speculate. Do you know what I mean? I just can't just speculate. Right, let's get into my list of people we need to talk about. Let's get to the first one, shall we? First of all, we are going to talk about Kelly Alemi. Now, actually, in April of this year, a specific TV show called For Real, the story of reality TV, and it had a specific episode called Makeover My Life. And actually, former contestants from The Swan were on this.
Here she is today. The rap on the show was that many of the women came out of it looking hideous.
Yeah.
What do you say to those critics?
I say everybody has an opinion. And I mean, if you think about it, it was so long ago.
So unfortunately, I cannot include that section in this video because the copyright for that video is incredibly intense. You can go and watch it on Amazon Prime or Hey You if you really, really, really want a little bit of a catch up. It is episode 5, Makeover My Life. And judging from these kind of couple of pictures, Kelly looks as beautiful as she did all the way back in 2004. Look at her, stunning girls. So next we have Kristy Garza. Now back in 2010, Kristy Garza had a blog spot and it was called The Other Side of the Mirror. Her little blurb for this blog spot says, "From ugly duckling to dazzling entrepreneur and all the days in between, free plastic surgery, ups, downs, divorce, single parenting, in a nutshell, just life. Our lives truly are what we make them, and now I'm making mine a little bit better with the hopes of doing the same for other people." And she introduces herself and says a little bit about what she is doing. Apparently in 2010 she was working on releasing a book. I can't find a book that was released by Kristy Garza, sadly, but she does state here, "I am writing a book and I hope to have it published within the next couple of years." That was 2010, so I do believe she's had a couple of setbacks. Unfortunately, I also came across a GoFundMe in which she needed to raise medical funds for a necessary surgical operation. And this was last updated in 2016 when she'd actually had the surgery that she needed. And she states here, "Hoping that tomorrow will be my discharge day. My doctor was really excited about my progress with the drop foot and also happy to report that the INR in my blood is almost at a great range. change. So much good news, it felt too good to be true. My surgeon has told me that I need to really focus on healing up because I have another aneurysm on my descending aorta that is 4.2 centimeters and will require a stent. My guess is that he ran out of time to tackle them both while he was in there. Honestly, I was too shocked by the news to ask any further questions. Hopefully you are all having a great week and made time to show or tell someone how much they mean about you. Kristy 2.0 is almost up and walking steady soon. I will be training hard for my next hurdle. And I'm going to include the GoFundMe in my description box below. Go and have a little look at it. It was last updated in 2016, so I don't know if she still needs to fundraise, but I just want to make sure that I can do everything that I can do for Kristy because she was treated pretty badly by the Swan. Next up, we have Cristina Tyree. Now, Cristina Tyree was almost impossible to find absolutely anything on at all. I feel like she retired from like public life and doing shows and things after the Swan aired, which is absolutely fine. I did manage to find a tiny little quote by her husband on a LASIK surgery website. So do you want me to read that for you? Dear Dr. Caster, I want to thank you and your staff for giving my wife, Cristina, the gift of vastly improved vision. As someone who works in the optical industry and who talks to hundreds of eye doctors and their staff members, I see firsthand the impact of your work. Though Cristina was very appreciative of the cosmetic surgery she received, there is no doubt in my mind that having her vision restored is the one thing that will have the longest lasting impact on her life. I can't thank you enough for taking care of my wife, Dan Tyree. Now that is quite a sweet little message, and that is literally all I could find about Cristina Tyree. So if Cristina, you are out there, my lovely, I hope that you are absolutely thriving like we've never seen before, girl. Next we have Cindy Ingle. Now, very interestingly enough, the Swan is so present in my life at the moment that there was an episode of Explained about plastic surgery on Netflix, which you can easily see. I literally just finished watching this before I made this video, just so it kept fresh in my mind. So a little bit of an interview happens with Cindy Ingle in which she explains about the procedures that she had done and her experience on the Swan. And overall, she was over the moon still. 17 years later with this experience, she was still really happy. She talked about the most favorite parts of work that she had done and generally really positively about the whole experience. And also, it looks like she's got some blue in her hair, which I must admit looks absolutely stunning. Now, I do actually also have to say that most of these women still are present on social media. But always remember, if you do find them on Instagram, make sure you leave them a lovely little comment. The show did air 17 years ago, which is a long time in reality TV time. I really would recommend going and watching that Explained episode because not only does it show you like Cindy Ingle's personal experience like now, but it also shows you like the history of plastic surgery and why we even have certain types of plastic surgery in like the zeitgeist of body image, which is fascinating, fundamental, problematic, and very intriguing. It's an absolutely wild watch, and I do recommend you go and see it if you can. Next, we have Tawnya. Now, Tawnya wrote a book. Can you believe it? Tawnya wrote a book called Behind the Scenes, girls. It's actually not called Behind the Scenes. And the book is titled The Swan Diaries, Dirt Behind the Scenes of Reality TV, and it was published in 2009. So this is a good 5 years after The Swan finished airing. So because Tawnya took the time and the effort to write this book, I am not going to read a little section from it. I am, however, going to read you the blurb and link it also in the description box if you want to go and buy a copy yourself. So, it starts with, what is reality? Tawnya Cooke reveals the story behind the scenes of the controversial Fox reality TV show, The Swan Girls, utilizing the day-to-day journal she compiled in the many months of filming while she was a contestant on The Swan. You will follow the day-to-day routine as she encountered it, along with the oftentimes exciting world of reality TV. When 40-year-old financial industry compliance officer Tawnya Cooke was chosen out of 250,000 women nationwide to be on The Swan, little did she know how unreal reality TV was. This book is her day-to-day journal and process from the so-called ugly duckling to becoming a beautiful swan. Very interesting language still, isn't it? Throughout the oftentimes surreal process, she kept both her dignity and sense of humour. Tawnya was up against plastic surgeons and producers of the show who had no boundaries set up for those reality TV stars. However, she stood her ground and in the end did things her own way. Quite the juicy tale, and I must admit, it really is. Go and grab yourself an Amazon copy below, my lovelies, and let me know what you think. Drama, girls. Next, we have Beth Lay. Now, once again, Beth Lay, nothing, absolutely nothing available on the internet. And after like a little bit of searching, I feel like I don't want to dive too much into things because I am a bit like, am I starting to invade people's privacies? If they want to disappear from public life, they have more than an entitlement to do so. So the only thing that I could really find that was public, which I thought was quite interesting, is that Getty Images is selling her image of her attending the Fox new season launch party for The Swan in 2004. And it is for sale. And they're selling prints at an extortionate amount of money, might I add. But that's it. There's just this Getty Images photo of her, and there is also one with her and Rachel Love-Fraser. So Beth, my lovely, I hope wherever you are in the world, you are thriving. Next up, we have Kathy Rickers. Now, one thing I was able to find about Kathy Rickers was the fact that there is an article in something called the Chicago Tribune in 2004. So it is still all the way back then. I could not find anything more modern about Kathy, but I'm going to read you a couple of sections from this article now, and it starts with, "Please don't take pot shots at the Swan." Sorry, Kathy, I did a little bit, didn't I? For Kathy Rickers, that is the worst part about undergoing more than 20 procedures in front of a television audience of more than 10 million people. Occasionally, complete strangers would go up to the Lake Villa resident and criticise her for going on the Fox series. I cannot imagine how deranged someone has to be to go up to someone who's been on a TV show for plastic surgery and be like,
"What'd you do all that for? I hate you. Oh, you are awful, aren't you?"
Like, if you see these people in the street, if you know them in your personal friendship group or professional work group or whatever, don't criticize them about going on this TV show. I feel like this TV show was a very specific enigma of the time in which it came from, which I think it could not happen now. I really do hope that we are beyond the days of something like The Swan happening in this day and age in the sort of way that it happened then, which just seemed to almost like metaphorically belittle these women and try and reconstruct them and blame all their problems on them and then like suddenly act as if they're all brilliant at the end of it. I'm going to take out my oching. I can't believe I haven't already. Rickers didn't make it to the Swan Pageant final, but other people are very catty about it. She says that people come up to her and say, "How can you do that to your body?" A, none of your business, sis. None of your business whatsoever. Such pitfalls aside, Rickers said she would do it all again. "I'm very happy with myself now," she says. "It wasn't always so. When she applied to be on the show, she felt like she was in a rut. I looked a lot older than I should have been, and I'd let myself go. Life had taken a toll on the way that she looked." Rickers jetted to California, where a team of plastic surgeons, trainers, life coaches, and therapists worked on her for several months under the glare of the Swan television crews. Rickers was barred from seeing herself until the final dramatic camera reveal. "When I first saw myself, I didn't know what to say. It was the first time I could look in the mirror and smile and say, I was beautiful." Now that is quite an ending. I wonder if she would still feel the same about the show in this day and age. We are like 17 years in the future now, so wherever you are, Kathy Rickers in the world, my love, I am sending you all the love, all the love. And I cannot believe people went up to you and were like, "Oh, I can't believe you do that." Like, shush, shush, people, shush. Keep yourself to yourself. Mind your own business. Next up, we have Andrea Morris. Now, there is actually a little video I want to show you in which Andrea Morris appeared with Dr. Haworth on the Fox News channel, I guess. A Fox News video, whatever you can call it. And Dr. Haworth uploaded this to his channel 10 years ago. So I don't quite know when it was posted, but it seems to be around that sort of time. So let's watch, shall we? It's 3 minutes long. Oh, wow, the quality.
But things have changed for this single mom from Colorado. Andrea joined us to talk about life after the Swan and what it was like going through the reality show's exercise, diet, and therapy boot camp. Also joining us, Dr. Randall Haworth.
Oh, why does he look at her like that? It seems a bit
surgeon. Welcome to you both.
Hostage?
Thank you very much.
And Andrea, you do look great. I want to ask you, I know one of the reasons why you did the show was you had some trouble in your relationship with your boyfriend and you thought this could possibly
get rid of the boyfriend.
How have things changed now with your boyfriend?
We were still trying to work out some issues actually, but I have continued on to therapy in Colorado. I've changed. I've become a more confident, comfortable person. I enjoy life. I'm smiling so much more, and it's been nothing but wonderful.
You have a young son, correct? A two-year-old, Zachary?
Yeah.
Now, what did he say when Mom came home looking so very different? What was his reaction?
Well, I was very worried that maybe he wasn't going to recognize me, you know?
Yeah.
But when I finally did see him and he reached out to me, I knew he knew it was me. So, you know, he's only 2 years old, but he's doing fine. We're both doing really well.
Dr. Haworth, I want to ask you, speaking of kids, with so many of these reality makeover shows, Extreme Makeover, MTV even has a show out there, kids are growing up with plastic surgery almost as a given in today's society.
Yes.
What advice would you give to kids out there watching these shows?
Well, I think what's important is to impart the fact that this is not going to the hairdressers when you're undergoing plastic surgery. Plastic surgery is a tool, and it's nothing
What is up with your eyes,
more than
sir?
that. And it allows you to help customize your life and customize the way you appear. And it's very important, the rule of thumb is it's very important to have realistic expectations as to what plastic surgery can and cannot do for you.
What, like going on the Swan and getting 21 procedures on your face, Dr. Haworth?
And would you say, like the MTV show, if somebody walked in and said to you, make me look like Elvis, is that something that you would do?
They're talking about the show that I've reacted to already. The, what's it called? I Want a Famous Face on MTV. Wow, okay, what's he got to say about this?
I would say that's a red flag.
So he's working on the Swan.
Everybody has different bone structure, different skin structure. They're not going to respond the same way to the same exact surgery. So you're going to be left with a lot of disappointed patients and a lot of disappointed doctors.
And Andrea, let me ask you, you had something like 15 different procedures. Was there ever any point through this where you thought, my body can't take anymore, enough?
Definitely. You know, when you're going through all the healing,
She doesn't look very
it's difficult,
well.
especially being away from home. And but everybody reassured me, especially Dr. Haworth, being, you know, and I felt like I was in the best hands possible, so I was comfortable with the whole thing.
Well, good luck to you moving forward, Andrea Morris and Dr. Haworth from The Swan. Thanks so much for being with us.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Well, that was weird. That was a lot weirder than I thought. I've never actually watched that before, and that literally looked like he paraded, like Dr. Haworth had come on and been like, look what I can do to all of you if you come to me. That was a bit weird, wasn't it? If you see this, Andrea Morris, my love, I hope that you are gorgeous and thriving, and I am sending you all my love. But I do have to ask, why did Dr. Haworth do this? This interview seems very strange for something like Fox News to be doing. It also seems very strange that he would then say things like red flag, when personally for me, working on a show like The Swan would be an immediate red flag for me. I couldn't go to a doctor who'd been involved in a plastic surgery show like this, I don't think. I don't think I would feel comfortable. Next up, we have Belinda Girl. Now, what's absolutely fascinating is that in March of this year, Belinda did an interview with a magazine called Mel Magazine. I'm going to read you a couple of quotes from this article, and you can go ahead and click the article link in the description box below, because this was wild. Absolutely wild. So the article title is, I went under the knife on The Swan, the most controversial reality TV show ever. Late one night during the summer of 2003, 28-year-old nurse Belinda Bessant was up watching The Price is Right in her Las Vegas home when something scrolled across the bottom of her screen that would change her life forever. I was a single mum and I was depressed, and it was just one of those bad moments in life where it felt like nothing was going right. So when I saw the words, have you ever wanted to change your life? Go to this website, appear underneath Bob Barker, I didn't hesitate to see what it was all about. Now, I imagine that website was literally swancasting.com, which someone actually came into my DMs on Instagram and said they'd bought and just reblogged my videos up there, which I think is absolutely bonkers. What a wild timeline we're in. This is wild. The article continues, the ad was for a new reality TV show that the world would eventually become to know as The Swan. That's the one, girls. It would be cancelled after 2 seasons and go down in history as the most bizarre and offensive TV show of all time. Gosh, can you imagine? So here Belinda talks a little bit about her experience. So 4 months after the initial casting in Las Vegas, I was flown out to LA, where I was given a whirlwind of medical and psychological tests. Now, I am glad that they actually had psychological testing. I don't know what that would have looked like in 2003, I'm guessing. But yeah, there we go. 2 months after that, cameras showed up to my house in Las Vegas to film B-roll. Now that's quite interesting, isn't it? Because we're all sort of like led to believe that they're just sort of like filming the B-roll, and then suddenly it's revealed to them that like, you're gonna be on The Swan, and then they're like, oh, I'm on The Swan. That's interesting. So it kind of goes to show you that like, that's a little bit of a produced TV moment. It kind of had to be. You couldn't just have random cameras show up and film you, right? Especially on your property. The next morning, the producers called and said, get ready to go. You're leaving in 2 days. Wow. By that point, I'd mostly gotten over the low of 6 months prior when I signed up to audition. But this was back in the heyday of reality TV. Everybody dreamed of being on some sort of TV show, and it became more about the excitement of, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on TV. This is going to be so cool, I can't wait. More than, I desperately need to change my life and fix myself now. In fact, a lawyer who looked at the TV show's contract tried to tell me I shouldn't sign it, but I did anyway. The allure of being on reality TV was too exciting to turn down. There we go, my loves. That's kind of all we need to really know about, like, the mammoth of television, even back in 2004 sort of time. So this is really interesting because I feel like nowadays, TV doesn't have quite as much power as it did 20 years ago. This was kind of a little bit before YouTube in terms of like what we knew YouTube to become at that point. We didn't really have video sharing websites. Well, we didn't have a phenomenon like YouTube at all, really, back then. So really, to become like a worldwide like household name, really, your only kind of way was to get really popular in music, really popular in film, or really popular on TV. It just kind of goes to show you the power that these producers have. So even though that you sign a contract and you have a lawyer write over it, the allure of it can still pull you in and make you think like, yes, I'll do anything. Do you know what I mean? So there is absolutely a power dynamic there. Like I said, I had 2 days notice to leave my entire life behind for 4 months. My job, my kids, and my house. Luckily, my boss was aware of the show and let me go. Wild. I mean, what boss lets you take off for 4 months? Exactly. Thankfully, my parents lived in Vegas, and so it was easy for them to watch my son. I sent them most of the $500 I was given each week for being on the show to pay my bills and care for my son. This is the first time we've heard about pay. So they were paid $500 each week for being on the show. Is that a good... So what would that have been in total? 4 months, that would have been $8,000. Now, I don't know how pay works in America. I have absolutely no idea how your taxation system works. I'm guessing, though, but because, is this technically a winning or is this a pay? If this is a pay, I think it comes out of your income as well, doesn't it? It comes out of your income tax. I know if you take winnings, you have to give, like, a percentage of those winnings as income as well. So, I don't know. $8,000, yeah. So, without the money, none of us could have afforded to take that time away from life. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Without getting paid to be on reality TV, how can anyone take time out of life? Weird, isn't it? I flew out to LA a second time, but this time they put all the girls up in an apartment complex. The first 2 weeks were a whirlwind of appointments. They filmed pretty much every second of everything we did. Some of the appointments were shown for some episodes, and for others, they just had the surgeons talking. Interesting. So potentially there was a lot more consultations than we've seen. I kind of expected that because when you go for surgical consultations, it's not just like 20 seconds in, out, goodbye, everyone gets it. Do you know what I mean? We went to the weight loss people, the surgeons, the dentist, the LASIK appointments, and the therapists all over again. They filmed us in front of a green screen in grandma panties and a cut-off tank top. That's exactly what we saw. That's the iconic grey underwear section. Absolutely hateful, that shot, isn't it? And the doctors did voiceovers talking about all of our flaws and what they could do to make us better. All right, okay, that's a bit hateful, isn't it? It turned out that the surgeons had a big part in which girls were chosen to come on the show, based on the laundry list of possible procedures they could do to make someone look better. Oh my goodness. Like, if I do this operation and this procedure, this person is going to look super amazing on TV. It wasn't like, if you don't get all the surgeries we suggest, you're SOL. I'm not sure what SOL means. SOL means eliminated, maybe? Okay, so interesting. The operations were highly pushed. Personally speaking, I had a blepharoplasty. What's that? A blepharoplasty? What's that? What's the blepharoplasty? What is that? Oh, it's an eyelid surgery. Oh, okay. I had an operation where they take the fat out from under your cheekbones, though I didn't know what that's called. I also had my teeth done with veneers, a breast reduction, and a bunch of liposuction. All of the surgeries were in the first 2 weeks. Okay. Maybe all of the surgeries weren't done on the same day? My first operation was under 13 hours of anesthesia, and my second one was a week later. Okay, so they've definitely split out the surgeries in some way or another. I still feel like this is a lot to put people through in, like, you know, 2 weeks, because realistically, if you get a massive surgery, like a 13-hour under anesthetic surgery, that's pretty intense. And then to go back a week later whilst you're still healing from all of this seems very intense, doesn't it? Just as intense as I had assumed it would be. And I'm sure all of you guys are like fully gagged to realize that with me, because that is alarming. Alarming, girls. It was hard enough having to recover from all that, but they took great lengths to prevent us from knowing what was going on. They unplugged the cable from our TVs, we weren't allowed to buy magazines, and our once-a-week call we made to our families was kept 10 minutes and recorded for the show. once a week call. Once a week. A 1,200 calorie diet a day, but a once a week phone call. That is wild. That makes it so much. So Rachel's like boyfriend, whoever at the time, who was like ignoring like 3 or 4 of her calls, means she didn't speak to him for weeks. Damn right we're gonna rib you for that, sir. That was hateful of you. Absolutely hateful. We would sneak into each other's rooms to hang out. That's quite fun. But otherwise, everywhere we went had to have a chaperone. Basically, we were trapped in our own little world while the show aired, so we had no clue how different the final product was from the show we believed we were filming. We also had no idea how it was being received by the public. Up until the last moment, for instance, we didn't even know that there was a pageant. It was never pitched to us like that. Okay, that would be illegal now. No such thing as informed consent. They had no idea they were going on a pageant. Absolutely no idea they were going on a pageant. That is weird. Oh, that is weird. How? I don't know how I would feel about that. Imagine being like, you've put through all this ringer and then right at the very end, you're dangled in front of a pageant and you had no idea. That is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers to me. We all thought we were getting an equal chance at the tools to better ourselves, and then in the end, we'd be showing off how much we'd improved. How much of a nicer show would that have made instead of literally making it all about reductive beauty and like competition and cattiness, instead of it being about like, we want to help you improve your lives? I don't know. This is very strange. It was never a competition. We were all good friends and got along wonderfully, but the public would have never gotten that impression because the show was edited in a way to make us look out to be these competitive, superficial women who are mean and catty to each other. See, when I say the editing is the like extra person in the room, it's the extra character you don't see. Editing plays such an important role in how these shows air, the drama that you feel, the more hook that you feel about them. Like, they are edited in a very specific way to make you feel specific things. I know that there's this phrase of like, oh, she's blaming it on the edit. These editors can make magic happen. They really can. In some ways, I look back positively on the surgeries. I'd been thinking about having a breast reduction for a long time because I was constantly having head and neck aches, all the stuff you get with your boobs being way too big. The same can be said for LASIK surgery. It was nice to have that done for free and not have to think about doing it myself. That is quite nice, I think. So in essence, there are like medical surgeries involved in this, not just purely plastic surgeries as well. But some of the other stuff, like the eyebrow lift and cheekbone operation, I wish I would have pushed back on. Don't get a brow lift, girls. I wasn't unhappy with my face structure, so I didn't need it. See, so they really were pressured into surgeries they didn't want and they didn't need. I don't even know why they suggested it, because if you look at the pictures of me before, not the show's before pictures, which they made us to look as ugly as possible. Exactly. Editing again, sis. But the actual pictures of me, I had beautiful eyebrows and eyes. Today, you can see 3 vertical scars on my head, which were made worse by the hair loss in those areas. I think we've had the wispy fringe explained to us there. Wow. So these contestants were being forced into surgeries that they didn't really want or weren't really fully explained as to like the long-term implications of. Like, would they have been told that like where the scars are on your hairline, that you won't have hair grow back there? Or would the surgeons have left this out to make you kind of like agree to get more plastic surgery to make the show more dramatic? Do you know what I mean? This reveals a dark side, girls. Dark-sided. At first, it was shocking to see how our episodes had been edited to add more controversy and make us out to be obsessed with looks and plastic surgery, that eventually turned into embarrassment after finally reading all of the articles and reactions to the show and seeing how negatively the public reacted to it. I just have to say here, like, this show is negative. None of the people that were on this show are in any way to be blamed at all for any of these things that they underwent. These people were professionals, working professionals, professional industry television people that made the show out to be something it wasn't. They sold this idea to the contestants to bring them in and then change the rules. That is unacceptable. Of course, because of how it was cut to make us seem like we're all about appearance and just there for surgery, a good amount of the public's outrage was directed at us. Why would we want so many surgeries? Why are so many women obsessed with fame and beauty? This is just it, isn't it? TV could make anyone believe anything. And that's why it's called programming, sis. But I was happy when I stopped being recognized in my own hometown and no one asked me about it because it's looked as such an ugly thing. It's embarrassing more than anything else to tell people about being on it. That is so heartbreaking because, so listen to what she said at the beginning of this article where she was like, I was excited to be on TV. They've taken this like meant to be wonderful, life-changing, uplifting journey and just got its bizarre patriarchal capitalistic claws into it and made it just into this hateful thing. To this day, I don't really talk about it. Many people in my life don't know, and the younger people I know, because of how hard the show is to find, even online, don't have a clue that it even existed, which is good, because I've moved on. I love my life and my time with my son, so I don't want any negativity from the past taking away from that. Well, oops. On my behalf, I am very conflicted after reading that because, as I mentioned earlier, if these people do not want to be recognized after the show, do not seek them out, do not go and find them, do not mention things to them because they have a right to be forgotten. And I just want my reviews of this show online to sort of identify and highlight how cruel reality TV can be to the contestants, rather than being like, not in any way, shape or form have we pointed at a contestant and gone, oh my god, why have they done this? That is absolutely not what I am here to do, my loves. So next up we have Kelly Becker. Now, I haven't been able to find anything about Kelly Becker online, no public interviews or TV appearances, but if her Instagram is anything to go by, she's living a wonderful, sunny, happy life with her family. So Kelly, I am sending all my love to you, my lovely. So Marnie Rygiewicz, who I actually had a bit of a difficult time watching her episode, just because of the sort of like emotions tied to it, I think. At the time, it was quite a shocking episode for me to watch anyhow. So she hasn't really like appeared on any TV shows or done any like public interviews, but she did have a pretty active Quora, I never know how to say it, Quora account from 2018. And she responded to a question asking, I am 37 years old. Am I too old to start a business? Marnie said no. And I could not have put it better myself, my love. I could not have put it better myself. But in an interesting turn of events, I managed to find a scientific article publication, and I've just written a few notes on it here, that quotes a journal article from 2004 from Marnie and Dr. Dubrow. The scientific journal is titled Editing as Plastic Surgery, the Swan and the Violence of Image Creation. It is a pretty intense read, and as it is a scientific article, it is behind a paywall. It goes really in depth about the science of beauty and almost like psychologically analyzes why we have this idea of beauty and where it comes from, and somewhat the violence associated with the beauty. Now it is, as I say, a pretty intense journal article, so if you really want to do the extra reading, you can request a copy of it from the authors, the scientists themselves. I will put a link in the description box to it below. Next we have Tanya Slovich. Now Tanya was the one who was well, she left, but kind of like was ejected, but kind of like left because she smuggled in a mirror, and there was all that drama about it, girls.
You're quitting. Yeah.
Oh my god. Sadly, I could not find any information about her story, either through giving an interview or a TV appearance or anything. I think she's got some juicy gossip to spill about the Swan if she ever wanted to. I think people would be very interested in hearing her story. But sadly, as I say, I cannot find anything on Tanya. Next up, we have Merline Norman. Now, again, I couldn't really find a lot on Merline. I feel like after the Swan aired, she just returned back to her life. But interestingly and kind of annoyingly and a bit rudely, the only instance I could find in reference to Merline was on this hateful website called Rating the Makeovers. And it was just basically like a website that just judges how well their makeovers went. Like, I'm not really interested in all that. I don't think that's helpful to anyone. But on there was also an article linked to a now deleted website, like completely deleted. I even went on the Wayback Machine and it could not find anything on this article. So it kind of came up to a dead end there. Merline, wherever you are in the world, my love, I hope you are thriving. Lastly, we have Rachel Love-Fraser, the winner of the first ever Swan Pageant. Now, Rachel did actually have a little bit extra of a career, shall we say. So we have a couple of quotes from Rachel from a New York Post article in 2013 titled Rearview Mirror, the most sadistic reality TV show of the decade is back. Unfortunately, I couldn't find out what they meant by is back, because there was no, it didn't link to a video, it didn't link to anything. There's no TV shows apparently doing interviews with these people. So I was a bit confused as to what the is back was about, but there we go. This was 2013, when anything went for clickbait, let's be honest. I do want to keep in mind that this was 2013 and views have kind of changed since then. So Rachel goes on to say, some of the girls have had problems with their surgeries, and I would have thought the producers would have helped a little bit more with that. But what can you expect from them? Reality TV shows aren't there to guide you for the rest of your life. Rachel Love-Fraser, who is now divorced, I couldn't find this anywhere else. I just found this little tiny section here saying, who is now divorced. Thank goodness she left that hateful man with the brow coverage. What was that all about? Thank goodness for that. Apparently there is light at the end of the Swan tunnel, my loves. She goes on to say that she's heard some of the ex-Swans are unhappy now and calls several of the women from the show crybabies. Now, She might change her opinion now. Like, it's nearly 10 years later from 2013. Oh, God, it's nearly 10 years later from 2013. And the thing is also that this is just a tiny little sentence on an article from 2013 in which they could have, same with editing, they could have cut up whatever she said. Maybe she said some of them might feel like crybabies when they complain about these things, but I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to put words into her mouth, and I don't want to judge her too harshly because we just don't know. We just don't know. I'm given one sentence, really, and I'm just trying to, like, decide what's happened. Interestingly enough, though, there is a little extra bit here that kind of counts for everyone that I do want to include here. Some ex-swans have been planning to take their grievances to the media soon after the show ended, says Tawnya Cooke, who wrote the tell-all book, The Swan Diaries, but ultimately they changed their minds. Interesting. I wonder if they would feel that way now. So there are also lots of images of Rachel Love-Fraser on Getty Images. The same with Beth Lay that you can purchase for some reason at an extortionate amount of money. I do not know why. But Rachel also appeared on another TV show called Battle of the Reality TV Stars. Go!
Rachel Love-Fraser, The Swan.
Oh, we're catching it.
I'm really fast. She ran track.
And this was in 2005. So this was apparently a little bit of an odd show in which celebrity reality TV stars were like paired up in groups, and the groups were like different types of colors, and they all had to like compete in challenges. So like if everyone was a member of Team Red would face Team Blue in like puzzle building. A little bit bridal plastic if you ask me. But then in a huge twist on episode 4, they had to vote out members of their own team, and Rachel volunteered to leave after a dramatic elimination showdown. And after that, on IMDb, she is not credited in appearing in any other TV appearances or interviews. So, Rachel, my lovely, I hope wherever you are in the world, I hope you are thriving and surviving now, you gorgeous stunner. You won the Swan, girls! That's the one! So I've got some insider gossip about the pageant, my lovelies. So it turns out it was a little bit more catty than we even could have imagined. So I had a source that I originally wanted to interview for this video. Unfortunately, things just happen, life gets in the way, and sometimes scheduling conflicts and, you know, events that happen in life don't allow things to go exactly how we would have planned. But I can tell you, I can share with you from my source a little bit of the juicy gossip here. So in response to Roly and I talking about the pageant and saying how, like, rigged it felt, they responded, it was like, as you said, totally predetermined with who they wanted to win before the pageant. Also, we had no say in how they dressed us. So that literally goes to show you the whole pageant was rigged from start to finish. They had a winner and they knew what they wanted. Although I loved the last dress that they put me in, they took the top 3 out several times to get their dresses just perfect. The rest of us got one trip and they picked out their outfits for us. So it was obvious to everyone who would win, LOL. Now, that is quite some insider gossip, but I must admit, and judging from all of your reactions as well, we could really see where the pageant was going and who was going to win. So that was just a little bit of insider tea I thought was very interesting. Now, my lovelies, we move on to some of the juiciest gossip. The juiciest gossip. Do you remember Annabelle the Orthodontist? Also known as Dr. Sherryworth? Do you remember her? In actual fact, in 2017, she was forced to retire her doctor's license so she can no longer do dental work on people. And I'm going to read you this article here by the LA Times about why that is. So, Newport Beach celebrity dentist surrenders her license after complaints of negligence and fraud. Gasp. The Dental Board of California has suspended Dr. Sherryworth's license, or should I call her Sherryworth now, pending a disciplinary hearing in 2017. The Dental Board had filed a complaint against Worth in February based on allegations by 6 patients that she committed repeated acts of negligence, fraud, incompetence, overdiagnosis, and excessive treatment. The patients were not identified by name, which is good because I wouldn't say that in this video anyway. The lawsuit alleges that Worth had ground a patient's teeth with a dry drill, resulting in needing root canals on otherwise healthy teeth. Oh my goodness. The dental work gave to this patient gave an improper bite and led to headaches and intense jaw pain. Oh my goodness. Okay, so one of the patient's attorneys, a San Francisco lawyer and dentist themselves, said that the 28-year-old patient that Worth operated on charged $39,000 for the dental work. God. And this lawyer estimates that the patient will spend another $32,000 to repair the teeth. Wow, this is huge negligence. So among the huge list of allegations, there's also this one here. According to a dental board complaint, Worth charged 2 patients more than $5,000 each for laser gum surgery that she didn't perform. Note say, digitally altered x-rays to cover up the problems she caused. and performed expensive and unnecessary restorations on healthy teeth. She was giving out Da Vinci veneers where they shouldn't have been done. She was doctoring x-ray photos and charging people for surgeries that she hadn't done. The dental board also accused Worth of altering or hiding patient records. The complaint states that by improperly placing restorations on teeth, she demonstrated a gross lack of clinical skill and diagnostic ability. It further goes on to say that Worth could reapply for her license in 3 years, but would have to pay $93,600 to the dental board for the rest of their investigation. On a website called Scamero.com, which is, I'm guessing, like a scam investigator website, Dr. Sherry Worth has 1 star, and the reviews are scathing. Lost her license due to malpractice. Ruined my upper teeth with root canal. She lost her license. License is suspended. A website is dead. Fraud. Sherry Worth malpractice case. And apparently, according to Yelp.com, her practice is closed. So I want to kind of end this video on a little bit of a scandal that's maybe not as shocking as the rest of them, but it is something that kind of gave me thought and moment of pause to think about. Unfortunately, I cannot find the source that I found this, and hopefully when I'm editing, I can put it on the screen. And it said that at one point there was a contestant reveal that Dr. Dubrow felt like throwing up afterwards because he was so disgusted with the show that he was a part of. He said that he leant off to one side and went to throw up, and the poor contestant thought that he was throwing up because of the way she looked at her reveal. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. We must also remember that the show is equally editing the surgeons as well as the contestants, simply because none of the surgeons were on the executive producer list. Talking about executive producers, Nely Galan. Nely Galan wanted to continue on this series and make it like a huge thing, like the Swan Season 3, the Swan Season 4, the Swan Man Edition. Unfortunately, her plans were swathed and swashed when critics reacted very negatively towards the show. Now, on Nely Galan's website, she actually has a little bit of a quote here that I'm going to read out. So, she had been in a very dark place. Doesn't all these things seem to start with a dark place? She'd been in a dark place, and while she was in that dark place, my son had been given a book, The Complete Works of Hans Christian Andersen. I decided to sit and read it with him one night when I recited the fable, The Ugly Duckling. And out loud, I had an idea. The ugly duckling was always a swan and didn't know it. As I uttered these words, it suddenly hit me that many women must feel exactly the way I did, trapped inside their own potential, but yearning to achieve a natural joy and confidence that exists within the deep folds of their psyche. Inspired by this experience, I created the hit Fox reality TV series, The Swan. In The Swan, I propelled these women into action through physical transformation. Granted, the show created a lot of criticism, and some felt the show had encouraged women to believe that they had to change every bit of themselves, externally as well as internally, in order to find true happiness. Now, if that's not a quote, I don't know what is, because it feels like as an executive producer, you do have control over the way a show is going, but here we are. Further on, she says, at one point, at the last minute, the network decided to change the show from a more holistic therapy-based internal transformation documentary to an extreme plastic surgery and ratings-driven vehicle. All of it against my better instincts. Now, that does kind of leave me with a bit of a question mark because she is an executive producer. That means that she didn't really have to do all that, you know? She would have been at the helm at some point, but she just says the network. So it's just kind of like offloading blame and being like, oh no, it's not my fault. It's the network, this ambiguous nonsense thing that isn't really one person. It's just a controlling force over this television show. I had nothing to do with it. But sis, you were an executive producer. That kind of makes me go like, I think maybe you wouldn't have said that if this show had been received very, very well. I bet you would have been like, yes, it was all me, I made it. Apparently, in one of these articles, Nely was found very upset and sobbing because of the scathing reviews this show had gotten. Well, my loves, there we go. A fine conclusion to season 1 of The Swan. And I must admit, I kind of feel a little bit bittersweet about it because I will be starting season 2 shortly. Don't you worry, my loves. It will be coming next month. The first exclusive look at season 2 of The Swan. But I am kind of bittersweet because this show, I think this show was a bad show. Let's be honest. I don't think it's any of the contestants' faults, and I feel like it could not happen in this day and age. But without The Swan, I would not have met a lot of you guys here, and I wouldn't maybe have the audience that I have garnered over this last 4 months because you guys have been here watching this absolute madness unfold. There was a bunch of people in my comments who suggested I should watch The Swan, and I managed to find that single video talking about the makeovers on YouTube, that one single reveal video a while ago now, and it's just absolutely wild that this TV show, this weird, controversial TV show from 2004 has somehow helped my channel grow in this day and age. It is a very bittersweet moment for me. I am glad that the Swans season 1 is finished, but I'm also excited and happy to have met all of you and garnished a new audience of following who's excited to watch season 2 with me, because what's going to be different about season 2? Surely some things have to be different, right? Anyway, my loves, it is time for the Patreons. And you can see yourself scrolling past here, my lovelies. Yes, you can. Thank you so much for joining the Patreons, my love. If you want to join, you can check out the description box below for the link where you get access to outtakes, archive live streams, and also a couple of extra special things. Oh, yes. Today's Twitch shout out goes to McRuff80. Thank you so much for following me over on Twitch, you stunning woman on the go. And if you want to be in with a chance of being featured in my next video's Twitch shout out, make sure you follow me on Twitch. It is Luxeria Plays, and I stream 2 nights a week at the moment, Monday and Thursday. So come over and join us, my love. Come over. And once again, I want to say a massive thank you to my top tier Patreons: Kelly Loom, Erwin Fox, Stephanie Neotupski, Steffi Tech, Casey Donahue, Traverful, Ryan Vita, Elizabeth Stone, Celine Yates, Lane Wade, Caitlin Coating, Min TM, Caitlin Wright, Jenny Hendricks, Abigail Ash, Crafty Leaks, Moriah Sherman, ContraPoints, Victoria Waldock, Succubus Lena, Shell Herman, Jodia, Jara Pavlovsky, Jevod, Orko Samoji, Moldy Apple, Victoria Carella, Megan Holly, Dana Broderick, Moisten98, Zaya Nazar. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon and keeping us thriving and surviving, you gorgeous people. And you know what, my loves? With that, are you ready for the Swan Season 2, my loves? Coming soon.